Hi friends, I'm going to make some lemon butter and then process it in a water bath canner for shelf stability. I've already prepped most of what I need for the lemon butter. We have egg yolks, sugar, lemon zest, lemon juice, and butter. And at the same time as I'm cooking that, I'm going to get my jars started heating up. So in any vessel can be used for a water bath canner. This one is my cheese pot, and it has some, I don't know if you can see, some metal rings at the bottom to hold the jars up off the bottom. It's a heavy bottom pot. And to sterilize these, we're going to bring this to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer while we continue cooking. To start the lemon butter, we're going to finish prepping the lemon. I did 4 lemons already, and I'm going to zest and juice. The recipe called for, this is a double batch. I called for 6 lemons, but I found that 4 was enough. A couple little tips to make you get more juice out of your lemon is to roll it on the counter before you juice it and make sure it's at least room temperature, if not warm. So that's done. And then to juice, roll it, slice it in half, and then juice into a bowl, and then I'll strain it as well. I just got this. I've been wanting one for quite a while, and I didn't have a citrus reamer, and I went to the store to get a citrus reamer, just the handheld kind. And I found this one. It's a juice press, and it really macerates the juice into whatever vessel. But you get quite a bit more out of a lemon than if you were to just juice it. So this recipe called for a cup of lemon juice, and I got a cup out of 4 lemons. I was hoping the cat would sleep, but she's not going to. Alright, so I'm going to add my egg yolks, and I need to get a spatula. Take yolks and sugar. I'm gonna whisk this and bring it to medium heat. Yes, Ace, we can all hear you. So once that's mixed, I'm going to switch from the whisk to a wooden spoon. I don't need the spatula anymore either. And we're going to cook the lemon juice, egg yolks, and sugar, and zest for 10 to 15 minutes until it's as thick as we like, or until it coats the back of the wooden spoon. So this is a double batch. The recipe that I found seemed to be quite a small, it seemed like a small batch to me because I'm so used to, when I do canning, to do quite a bit. Sorry, there's just a bit of weird egg in there. When I do canning, I tend to do a large batch of canning, and this recipe only was going to make 2 cups. I'm like, that's not enough for my effort, so I'm doubling it. And I've got quite small jars that I'm going to can into. The lemon butter's thick, So in order to make sure that it's shelf stable, you have to use smaller jars. So the maximum canning size is 250 ml or 1 pint. Just so that the heat can penetrate. I'm using 190 ml jars and 55 ml jars. In this recipe should give me 4 jars of each. Then I've got some for my shelf and some to give away as gifts. So it is, what time is it? 11:59. See what time it is when this is done cooking. Okay, it looks like we're just about there. In fact, we are. Coat the back of the spoon. We're going to remove it from the heat, and then I will redress my counter for the next process. All right, hopefully I don't block you here. So this is off the heat now, and I'm going to start to add the butter cube by cube. A couple cubes at a time and let it dissolve. But excuse me, my counter space is very small. This looks so yummy. The nice thing about making it from scratch at home, you know what's in it. Yeah, it's sugary, it's a jam, it's not super healthy, it's got lots of butter. But there are 4 ingredients. I can handle that. And pardon my sniffling. I seem to be getting a cold. And my normal, so I'm using smaller jars. These are 55 ml jars. These are 190 ml jars. And so my normal canning funnel is not going to work for me. So I cut the top off of a 2-liter bottle of pop and sterilized it. My water's just about ready. It is going to be a little bit tricky using these smaller jars to get them to remain upright in the rapidly boiling water. But I think it'll be fine. I've actually never canned something so small before. But I think these will make lovely gifts, and then those will be for Will and I. So water bath canning is suitable for this recipe because of the amount of sugar in it. So it's already preserved by the sugar. The water bath processing is just to produce, it heats it enough to kill some bacteria that may or may not be there. I've sterilized everything, so there shouldn't be any contaminations. But the water bath forces air out and creates a vacuum. So water bath canning is more about getting a seal on your jar rather than actually making the food safe. The sugar does that. Water bath is good for anything that's acidic or in a brine or in a sugar syrup or a jam. So jams, jellies, relishes, pickles, and tomatoes. So tomatoes are acidic. And even with tomatoes, I add a little bit of lemon juice just to make it safe for water bath canning. Anything that's alkaline or any kind of meat, so mostly all green vegetables for sure, anything that's meat has to be pressure canned because it gets hot enough to kill any microscopic bacteria. This looks so yummy. I haven't made lemon butter in years, but when I asked what you guys wanted to see and you wanted a canning video, that's great, but there's nothing really in season to can right now. So jam it is. Oh, I forgot. My lids. So because these are little jars, they don't have the ring and lid. It's just a lid with a rubber seal in it. So I need to warm those through so that the rubber becomes pliable and will make a better seal. And I forgot to get out my paper towels and vinegar because once I've filled these, it's very important. It doesn't matter what you're canning, when you're canning. You must make sure that this rim has no oil from your finger, it has no food particles, it has to be absolutely clean in order to make a seal. Alright, I'm going to get out my paper towels and my vinegar and then we'll fill the jars. Alright, we're just about ready to continue. I have the kettle boiling to continue to fill up to cover my lids with. My water's just about hot enough and boiling. My lemon butter, lemon curd is ready. So I'm going to start filling these up. And this has been sterilized. So I'm just going to do 3 of each at first to make sure that I've got enough. And I'm going to fill it up to the bottom of the rim line on both jars. I love the color of this. The stuff you buy at the store is so pale. Here I used good eggs, good butter. Oh, that's perfect. Done. So what's left in there, I'll serve on some toast tonight. Excuse my blocking you. Right, I have a debubble tool. Before I clean the rims, it's important to make sure there's no air bubbles in here. So I'm just going to run my debubbler down the sides. If there's an air pocket in there, it won't get driven out when we're water bath canning, and it can wreck the seal and spoil your goods. Oops. You never want to do that with a metal utensil because you don't want to chip your jar. Alright, so I've got a paper towel. I'm going to tear it into a few sheets because I'm sure this is going to get messy. Then I have a little dish of vinegar here. I'm just going to clean the edges. I'll move it over a little bit. See, with lids and rings, with regular canning jars, you're going to remove the ring after you do the processing, and then you can address if there's anything on the threads. You can't do that with these jars, so I have to make sure that my threads are super clean before I start. Those ones are done. If I had hard water here, I'd also add a little bit of vinegar to my water so that my jars wouldn't get cloudy. But I have really good water here, so I don't have to worry about that. Right, so since these are hot packed, meaning I put hot liquid into warm jars, I don't have to worry about my water being boiling like that. If I had cooler jars, I would have to be very careful about not putting cool jars into boiling water or they could crack. All right, so I've got my lids here. I'm gonna have a magnetic dauber, take them out. And then I'm just going to make these finger tight, which means I'm not going to wrench them, but just make them tight enough. And you can, there's some give in this. Once I can it, there'll be no give. And while jars are reusable, they recommend that you always replace the lid after opening. And I have to thank my husband for all these cute towels and placemats he got me for Christmas. They're all bee themed. Love it. All right, I'm going to get those into the water. I have a jar lifter. Just goes around the neck. Right, so in we go. And when I had cold water and empty jars in here, I tried to kind of see where I need to put them when they're full, because it is a little bit difficult to see through boiling water. So the processing time for this is 20 minutes. Probably could do less on the smaller jars, but I'm not going to disturb them. All right, they're all in. Lid is on, and I'm going to return that to a rolling boil and process for 20 minutes. Okay, we're just about ready to take it out of the camera. It's been 20 minutes. I'm going to reach over and turn it off. And I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to wait for the rolling boil to calm down before I take it out. this is what was left. Got another half a jar there. That'll just go in the fridge and we can use it up in the next couple days. Looks like the jars did displace a little bit, but none of them fell over, so that's good. Right, it's calm enough that I can see the jars, so I'm going to reach in and take them out. Alright, there we have 8 jars of lemon butter. I'll let them sit for 24 hours before I touch them and move them, mark them up. But they should ping, or the seals should, or the vacuum should pull the lids down within the next couple of hours anyway. So, I hope you enjoyed my first video. Thank you for coming along with me.